Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Silly Billy who woke up with a sock on his hand and a sticker on his forehead. "Mum," he shouted, tumbling into the kitchen. "Why is there jam on my elbow?" Mum, in her light blue jumper, smiled as she stirred porridge. "Because you're Silly Billy," she said. Dad peeked in, tea towel over his shoulder. "Guess what, Billy," he said with a grin. "We're going to the circus today." Billy gasped so hard he nearly dropped his spoon. "The circus?" "With clowns and flying people and maybe a lion." Sulky the cat blinked from the windowsill, unimpressed. Billy spun in a circle, knocking over a chair. "I need my best socks," he cried, running off. Mum chuckled. "He's already wearing one red and one blue." Dad nodded. "Perfect circus attire." Sulky yawned. "I suppose I'll come too," he seemed to sigh. Silly Billy bounced in the back seat like a popcorn kernel. "Are we there yet?" he asked for the 5th time. Mum passed him a juice box. "Not quite, love." Dad hummed along to the radio, one hand on the wheel, the other tapping the beat. Sulky sat in a cardboard box beside Billy, tail flicking with disdain. "Look!" Billy shouted. "That cloud looks like a giraffe on a bicycle." Mum squinted. "It does a bit." They passed a sign, "Circus today, this way." Billy squealed. "We're nearly there." The car turned down a lane lined with bunting and balloons. "I see the big top," Billy cried, nose pressed to the window. Sulky gave a long, slow blink. "Don't worry," Billy whispered. "I'll find you a quiet spot." The car bumped over a puddle. "Adventure begins," Dad declared. Silly Billy stood in front of the biggest tent he'd ever seen. It was red and gold and flapped like a giant's cape. "It smells like popcorn and ponies," Billy said, sniffing the air. Mum held his hand while Dad bought tickets, pencil behind his ear. Sulky peeked from Billy's backpack, ears twitching. Inside, the tent sparkled with fairy lights and rows of wooden benches. Billy chose one right at the front. "Best seat in the house," he declared. Mum sat beside him, cardigan tucked around her knees. Dad handed out paper cones of sweets. "Let the show begin," Billy shouted, startling Sulky, who hissed and disappeared into the bag. "Oops," Billy whispered. "Sorry, Sulky." The lights dimmed. A hush fell. Billy's eyes grew wide. The circus was about to begin. Silly Billy laughed so hard he nearly fell off the bench. A clown with a red nose and floppy shoes tripped over a bucket and landed in a pile of foam pies. Another juggled jelly beans while riding a tiny bicycle. Billy clapped and whooped. "I want to be a clown when I grow up," he declared. Mum giggled. "You already are, sweetheart." Dad pretended to be serious. No pies in the living room, though. Sulky peeked out, unimpressed by the chaos. One clown spotted Billy and gave him a wink, tossing him a balloon shaped like a giraffe. Billy hugged it like treasure. "This is the best day ever," he said, bouncing on the bench. Sulky blinked slowly, as if to say, "I've seen better." But even his tail gave a tiny twitch. Silly Billy gasped as a parade of animals entered the ring. Ponies with glittery saddles trotted in circles. A dog in a tutu danced on its hind legs. "Look, Sulky," Billy whispered. "That dog's doing ballet." Sulky blinked, unimpressed. Then came the parrots, bright and squawky, flying in loops. One landed on the clown's head and squawked, "Billy." Billy nearly fell off his seat. "It knows my name." Mum smiled, eyes wide with delight. Dad leaned in. "Maybe it's magic." Billy nodded solemnly. "Definitely magic." The next act was a sleeper-looking llama wearing a bow tie. Billy waved. "Hello, Sir Llama." Sulky yawned. "He's your spirit animal," Dad joked. Billy giggled. "Sulky's is a grumpy hedgehog." Sulky narrowed his eyes. The llama sneezed. Everyone laughed. Silly Billy held his breath as the acrobats climbed higher and higher. They wore sparkly costumes and swung from ropes like glittery birds. "They are flying," Billy whispered. Mum squeezed his hand. "They're very brave." Dad leaned forward, eyes wide. "I'd fall off just climbing the ladder." Billy imagined himself soaring through the air, arms out, socks mismatched and flapping. "I'd do loop-de-loops," he said. Sulky, still nestled in the backpack, looked up briefly, unimpressed. One acrobat did a triple spin and landed with a flourish. The crowd erupted. Billy clapped so hard his balloon giraffe popped. "Oops," he said, then grinned. "That was amazing." Mum kissed his forehead. "You're our little acrobat." Billy beamed. "Can I practice on the sofa?" Dad groaned. "Here we go." Silly Billy sat cross-legged on a picnic blanket outside the big top. Mum unpacked sandwiches, apples, and flapjacks. Dad poured lemonade into paper cups. "Circus food," Billy declared. Sulky sniffed a sausage roll suspiciously. "Don't worry," Billy said. "No pies in the living room." They all laughed. Billy munched happily, crumbs on his dungarees. "I like the clowns best," he said. "No, the parrots." "No, the flying people." Mum smiled. "It's hard to choose." Dad leaned back, arms behind his head. "I liked watching you enjoy it." Billy grinned. "I liked everything." Sulky stole a bite of cheese and retreated under the blanket. "Even Sulky's having fun," Billy said. The sun dipped low, casting golden light. "Can we come again?" Billy asked. Mum nodded. "One day." Silly Billy curled up on the sofa, still wearing his circus wristband. Mum brushed his hair gently, humming a lullaby. Dad brought warm milk and sat beside them, slippers squeaking. Sulky stretched across the armrest, finally looking content. "I'm going to dream of flying," Billy murmured. "And clowns. And llamas." Mum kissed his cheek. "And maybe a dancing dog." Billy nodded sleepily. "And a parrot that says my name." Dad chuckled. "You're our little star." Billy yawned. "I want to be in the circus." Mum smiled. "You already are, love." Sulky purred softly, tail flicking. The room glowed with warmth and quiet giggles. Billy closed his eyes, heart full of wonder. And in that cozy, silly, loving home, the circus lived on, in dreams, laughter, and mismatched socks.